Got your eyebrows on there, bud? Good to go?
Got my eyebrows. I think we're live if you want to open.
You look like, yeah, you look like Ernie just sticking your eyebrows on there to start the show. It was perfect. Welcome everybody to Race Chat. I'm Clinton Geoffrey. I'm home at my Pinty's man
Don't we
cave, I
usually
guess
have
you
an
could call it.
intro? Isn't there
He played
usually
the
like
intro.
wild music and a montage? And did he?
He played it. You were putting your
I missed it.
eyebrows on.
You ever heard Willie Nelson's version of Just Breathe? Oh man, it's good.
Probably not.
You don't listen
Welcome
to Willie
everybody to Race
Nelson?
Chat. I love Willie Nelson. I really do. You know me. I'm a country boy. I grew up with all that stuff.
I know. And then you just blew off my song recommendation as though I didn't matter.
Are you going to sing for us?
I was singing.
We can't play it, but if you want to sing it, I'm pretty sure we'd be way far away from a copyright strike there. Anyways, let's get to the show. We've got
Just Breathe Pearl Jam cover.
No, I don't. Sorry.
You're always in a hurry.
Keep going out.
You're always in a hurry.
Well, we can talk about a Pearl Jam song that Willie Nelson covered for an hour if you want to. But I think the
viewers think you could.
Participate. I don't think I could either because I've never heard this song.
I know. I'm going to talk to our first guest about professional wrestling just because I know you hate it.
I'm coming around to it. If you need to know, the Jim Cornette podcast is like my 3 o'clock in the morning when I eat my cereal before I go to bed entertainment lately. Let's get on with racing. This is Rivalz Race Chat. I'm Clinton Geoffrey. This is Adam Ross. I'm at home in my man cave where I do most of my business. Adam is at a friend's garage where they're doing some race car business to get Connor ready for his debut this weekend at Flamborough. As always, the show is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you. And we're going to talk about a bunch of things today. Our first guest, Mike Mallett, is already on the line. We'll get to him in just a moment. But a lot of things have been going on, Adam. You know, you always say I rush into things. Should we just jump into Mike since he's here and get the chat going with him and then go back to our list, or what do you think?
Jump in.
All right, let's throw Mike into the mix. Mike Mallett is from Dirt Track Digest and Dirt Track Digest TV, who, kind of like us at Gforce, the pandemic has kind of fallen into the streamer's lap this year, so to speak. It's kept us busier on both sides of the ditch as we've got through this crazy racing season. For those who don't know, Mike is a longtime friend of Adam and mine for about 20 years now, and business partners as well. So, Mike, welcome to the show again. You've been here with us lots of times. Obviously, we brought you in to talk about a few different topics. The hot topic this week was that Dirt Car announced what they're calling October Fast instead of Super Dirt Week. So let's just start with Super Dirt Week being postponed. And, you know, you're the resident a writer down there, producer. I've seen you do all kinds of jobs behind the scenes with the TD TV this season as well that you didn't expect to be doing. And it's amazing what all the guys that work with us do for us. And when you finally get to do those jobs, it's amazing. But Mike, first let's talk about Oswego being on hold. And for Asphalt fans, their entire season was out as well.
Well, let's be fair. It wasn't really a shock that everything in New York was on hold. I mean, New York we've been shut down since March. So we all knew when everything went down that we were going to be shut down. My belief that Super Dirt was going to be normal was about 1%. I mean, you guys had to feel the same way, knowing what's all going on here. I mean, you can hope and hope and hope and hope, but when the governor keeps pushing it back and back and back, and then you hear, the NFL is not going to allow fans at the beginning of the season. Baseball doesn't allow fans in New York. I mean, the writing's on the wall there, man. It wasn't going to happen. So,
are you going back to school next week, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going back to school, but I have no students. So my students are all at home. I have to teach from school. That's what we're doing. So it's a hybrid model.
Mandatory. Okay.
Yeah, it's mandatory online schooling for the kids at home. I got to work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from school, and Wednesday we are taking a day off so they can clean the building. So, but I still have to teach from home. Don't get me wrong, I still got to teach from home, but excuse me, for that week, or for that day. So, I mean, we all knew, we all knew Super Dirt Week wasn't happening. I mean, this is not a shock, not a surprise. Nope. Anybody that thought was like, oh my God, we're going to have a Super Dirt Week. Come on, we haven't been able to have fans all summer. Let's be legitimate here. Knew, I knew, we all knew. The writing was on the wall all summer long that we were not going to have our normal Super Dirt Week. Period. That's it. I mean, it's And then when Oswego canceled their season, yeah, that kind of told you where they're going, and you can meet and you can have all the meetings you want, talk and do all the things you want. But at the end of the day, the governor's been the governor. He hasn't changed. He still is not allowing fans at outdoor activities or events, and it wasn't going to change in a month. Like if you can, there's no way you were going from 0 fans to 10,000 fans in a month. So it be what it be. So I think what's been announced is a very interesting concept, a speed week, sort of thing, and I find that interesting. Again, a lot of the traditional dirt car tracks along the thruway involved, which is exciting for race fans. I mean, it sucks nobody can go, so we're back in the same boat. But I think it'll be interesting, and again, it gives local guys a chance to do some racing because other than let's say Albany's ran all year. We've been fortunate to be there with Dirt Track Digest TV. They've run all year. Can-Am's run all year with Dirt Track Digest TV. But other than that, Fulton's had some practices. Utica ran a couple of races. Weedsport hasn't raced really at all. They haven't had a race. So basically half the tracks that are involved in this really haven't raced at all. So this will be the first time they open their gates and do some things. So I think that's good. It's good for the tracks and obviously good for the drivers and good for everybody involved. Unfortunately, not so much the fans because the fans going to watch it online just like they've been doing all summer, whether it's Dirt Vision or Dirt Track Digest TV or Flow or whatever they've been watching.
Mike, I think that this is basically Super Dirt Week without a home base, right? It's all the satellite events, just with no fans. But I think it would have been very easy to call it Super Dirt Week or Super Dirt Week Light or whatever you want. But I think that would have pissed off all the Canadians who've been a big supporter of that for over 40 years.
Well,
so I think by calling it October Fast, I think just getting away from the whole thing is kind of smart. I think it's a brilliant plan, actually, Adam.
it's more like a speed week or a Ohio sprint week or whatever you want. All these events where, what do they call the marathon of dirt late models? Like the Hell Tour?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that sort of thing.
Similar to that.
And I agree. I'm glad they took the Super Dirt Week off because nobody has to feel as though they've lost out on tradition, right? It would be upsetting to fans who couldn't cross the border this year. And it might not seem like much to you, Mike, in New York, but if you took all the Canadians out of Super Dirt Week, you'd notice a big chunk of people missing.
Oh yeah,
I think if they had it,
yeah. Oh yeah, we've talked about that. I bet you 25 to 30% of the fans that are at Super Dirt Week are Canadians. That number might even be more than that. I mean, so not having Canadians, that's a big deal. Like, I mean, we can make Canadian jokes back and forth and everything else, but at the end of the day, Super Dirt Week isn't Super Dirt Week without the Canadian fans, without the Canadian drivers. It's an event that brings everybody together, Canadians, Americans, everyone. And that's what we can't have right now just because – look, I don't think you guys can cross the border. What's the latest date? September 21st? That's the date now, or who knows?
We won't be able to cross the border till the new year. But the reason I say that is hats off to Dirt Car for calling it something different. Like, hats off to them for seeing that, because now you're not going to have Canadians who in their mind thinking, oh my God, my tradition, my streak, your streak is still alive. 2020 doesn't count. So when 2021 comes around and we're all able to go back down, we continue counting the years that we've been.
I mean, this is great. The Dirt Car's doing this. I think, for us, looking at numbers and stats and what's going on. I mean, the big thing for race fans in my area now was the announcement that Bradeo put out in the Short Track Super Series. Now, I think you guys saw that a couple of weeks ago with $53,000 to win at Port Royal. And you look at the format of that, you're running a Short Track Super Series race on Thursday night, and then you're running qualifying events that are 20 laps in distance for the modifieds on Friday, and then a 200 on Saturday at Port Royal. And that again, that's the weekend traditionally after Super Dirt Week. So, that we've seen that, kind of be the big boost, that our fans have wanted in terms of fans that can go, because Pennsylvania's open. You can go. If you can get to Pennsylvania, you can go to those races. So I think that's been the big excitement, on our deal, in the last couple of weeks. Now this brought a lot of excitement too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking one or the other, but I think the fans want something to do, and they want to be able to go, and not being able to go is a big deal to race fans. They've been home, they've been locked up, they've been told what they can and can't do for 8 months now, and stuff's getting a little old. So if they have a chance to get out and go to Pennsylvania and go to the races, they're going to go. But again, kudos to Dirt Car for doing something. Again, dirt week can't happen. It's not going to work. There's no way to pull off an event of that magnitude in New York right now with fans. Period. That's it. And it's unfortunate, but that's where we are.
So if you're just joining us, we're talking about Dirt's new program called Oktoberfest, which they're going to do the same week of Super Dirt Week. It'll be feature 6 straight nights of Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds with their other 3 classes mixed in, being 358 Sportsman and Pro Stock. So exciting to that. I know for us, us fans up here and a lot of my friends that we hang out with and where we're always watching the streams and stuff over at T-Max Bar and Grill, they're all pumped about that. I know all the Canadians will be watching if we can't be a part of it. So that's certainly a rough deal. Same thing us with the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. Sure, we could have had a big race, but is it really the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals without our 40 American teams coming over? It's not really. Mike, let's talk about a couple other topics going on in the world right now. What do you make of this Kyle Larson guy? You follow all the dirt stuff from the major stuff right on through. What's your take on what's going on with Kyle Larson?
And,
It's pretty awesome to see him come back.
Look, if I get one more text calling him the greatest race car driver of all time, I'm going to lose my mind. All right. Look, the kid's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking him, not knocking his talent. He's exceptional. Probably one of the maybe one of the greatest to drive a race car. But it's been 1 year. He's done phenomenal. It's been insane. He's wins in everything. He does everything. Incredible talent. But we're already calling him the greatest of all time, the greatest this, the greatest that. Like, everybody chill out for a minute. Let's relax. Let's step back. Let's
do
let's
it
see
for
what
20
happens.
years straight. Do it
Yeah,
for 20
right.
years
Like,
straight, and then you've got
look,
some of the credentials that Steve Kinser has.
or Donnie
I'm
Schatz,
with you, man. I'm not saying
or
he's
any
not.
other guys. Right. I mean, I had somebody. Oh, he won the Knoxville Nationals. For the record, he did not win the Knoxville Nationals. Okay, that was not the Knoxville Nationals. That was the one and only. Paid $50,000. It was a different format. It's not the same thing. He did not win the Knoxville Nationals. Okay. Yes, he's kicking everybody's butt right now. Kicking their butts. Great. Do it for more than one summer, and let's see. Again, great talent, amazing talent. All right, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon. I mean, who else? Jack Hewitt. There's a bunch of guys that won in multiple disciplines that were exceptional in their disciplines. So let's chill out. Let's take a look and have a logical conversation now. Oh my God, Kyle Larson's the second coming of Jesus. Okay, relax, guys, relax. Okay, we're not there yet. Let's see it a little bit more. Look, if he does it for 10 years, I'll bow down to. All right, I'll worship and I'll do everything that everybody wants to do right now. But is it awesome what he's doing? Oh man, it's fantastic. It's great. It's a fun thing to talk about. But at the end of the day, I always bring a little pause, a little caution, and let's just see what happens and see how it goes. Now, Clint, you should disagree here, and Adam and I are on the same team.
I'm about to disagree. Obviously we brought him up to watch weekend. We waved the flag of Kyle Larson. We will in the future, most likely. Stiers has got his stuff all over it. But you got to be mildly impressed, Mike. I mean, you know how tough it is to run the World of Outlaws, and I'll give you that. Maybe you don't call him the greatest ever yet, and I don't. Maybe he never gets there. But for you to say he's not one of the greatest already of all time, it has to be a little bit out of your wheelhouse, I would have to say, because look at what he's done, Mike. He's gotten in, and people will say, well, he's got the best of the best, but so does everybody he's whipping their asses. And the fact that he could come back out unpracticed or with the limited seat time and just be as dynamic as he has, it's impressive. And I'll give you that. Maybe not the greatest of all time yet, because he's got to do it for the record of years those guys have. But, man, it seems like anything he touches lately, he's been able to put in victory lane, and that's hell impressive when you look at who he's been competing against. Just to come out there and make Donnie Schatz and Brad Sweet look, average is damn impressive. And that's just where I'm at. And you know what? We've got a chance to see him race. I don't know how much you've seen him race, Mike, but when he came to Wash Weekend, a place where, I've been for 25 years, he just drove a different way. Like the lines he got around and still whipped everybody's ass. He was making lefts when they were making rights and rights when they were making lefts and still killing them. And it was amazing to see just the control he had. And, I mean, still a long way to go, but, if he keeps knocking this down, it's impressive. No?
No, I'm not saying it's not impressive what he's doing. But again, I'm just tired of the greatest driver ever, the greatest this ever, the greatest. You got to do it for more than 1 year to be that. Okay, like, at the end of the day, again, this is impressive. He's got 35. He's won 35 out of 70 races, or 35 out of whatever, and he's been top 5 every race. Great, that is again amazing talent, amazing driver. I just need more, man. I just need more. One season doesn't make or break it. You know what? Kevin Moss had an amazing season with the Yankees. Guess what? Where is he? Is he in the Hall of Fame? Anybody even know who the hell Kevin Moss is anymore? Probably not. No, but the guy came on the scene, hit thousands, hundreds of home runs, freaking amazing. And guess what? He ain't in the Hall of Fame. He sucked. All right, but I'm not saying Kyle Larson is going to be that. But at the end of the day, let's make the kid do something more than 1 year, or a couple of years before we start bowing down and worshiping the ground that he walks on. That's all. And I love having this debate. That's why I'm making it so exaggerated and going over the top right now, right? Because I just enjoy having the argument because I've been doing it with everybody because it's just fun at the end of the day. Again, I respect Kyle Larson, his talent. It's awesome, and
Okay,
and it's fun to watch, and it's great. Go ahead, Adam. What do you got?
let's do this. Let's do this with statistics. In 1987, Steve Kinser won 46 A mains, including 12 in a row, and 24 of the last 26 events. So, and again, Kyle Larson is amazing, but what he's doing is not totally unprecedented. It's good.
Right.
It's really, really good, and there's not that many that have done it. But I kind of wanted to look back on statistics. So 46 wins in a year for Steve Kinser. Kyle Larson is well on his way.
Yeah, and I would just, if I wanted to argue against those facts, Adam, I would just say I think the numbers, aren't black and white as clear, but Kinser was racing those cars for years before he put up those numbers. Larson dabbled in it and jumped out of a NASCAR, partway through the season and came back and put up some good numbers. But super impressive to see. I think it's exciting that Dirt Car has, something like that they can be proud of, and not just mean Dirt Car, the organization, but dirt racing in general. That we've got something that's got everybody so fired up. Some fans are waving that greatest ever flag, and then there's guys like, Mike bringing us back to reality here where, give us a few more years. But it's been great to see the talent come up, and it's been great to steal one of our guys back from NASCAR for a bit, even if it's only temporary. Mike, what else is on your racing radar lately? Anything else you want to talk about before we send you off into the abyss?
No, man. I just it's been again, COVID sucks for everybody, but I'm glad we've been able to help everybody out with Dirt Track Digest TV. I think this has been my busiest summer in terms of traveling and so on and so forth. And we've been Albany, Saratoga, Outlaw, Can-Am, Big Diamond every week. This weekend we're fortunate we're going to be at Big Diamond. We got 17,000 to win the Coal Cracker this Sunday, first time ever on DirtTrackDigest.tv. So if you can't go to the Coal Cracker, which I would recommend, if you haven't been to Big Diamond this year, I've been watching the highlights and watching the racing at Big Diamond, and man, it's been good. It has been stinking good. And Big Diamond is for Americans. It's a place that we're allowed to go. It's in Pennsylvania, so we can get in there. And we're allowed to go. And if you haven't been there, man, my suggestion is wear your mask, get to Big Diamond because it's been phenomenal racing, just phenomenal. And this week's the Coal Cracker, 72 laps, 17,000 to win. Man, it's going to be awesome. Going to be awesome. And then again, looking forward to the fall. We got some big things coming up. September 11th. Stay tuned. Albany Saratoga's got something special planned, and you may see a few guys driving some race cars that you haven't heard their names much this year. So, that's what I can give you right now. I'm not ready to, the track's not ready to release anything, but there'll be some surprise entries on that one, and we'll have that for you here next week. But and other than that, a lot of big stuff coming up this winter or this fall, I should say. We don't have the traditional events, but we're fortunate. We got some big stuff. As I mentioned earlier today, it was $53,000 to win race in mid-October at Port Royal Speedway. 200 laps, $53,000 to win. That's just. Again, we've been partners with Brett for a long time. I've been friends with Brett for about 20 years now. So, I get excited. He does some great stuff, some big stuff. And I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to that one. 3 nights, and again, kind of taking a little bit of a Super Dirt Week vibe with the way he's doing his qualifying on Friday nights. He's running 20-lap features for the modified. That'll be qualifiers instead of your traditional, heat races. He's going 20-lap races and qualifying guys out of heat races, basically longer distance races like that. So pumped about that in mid-October. So check out Dirt Track Digest and Dirt Track Digest TV again and kind of see what we got coming up. Got some cool stuff, and it's going to be a fun fall for us. We're excited. But I got to be honest with you. The thing I'm most excited about is, please God, let this crap be over so we can actually go to the racetrack next year and go where we want to go. I missed the Kings Royal this year. I missed the Knoxville Nationals. I need those races. Race fans need to go to the races. I love it for us that we're able to broadcast and bring it to you, but I just want to go freaking wherever we want, and let's go to the normal races and have fun and be with our friends and do all this crap because I'm tired of it. That's all.
See, we thought you were going to say so we can come back to America and visit, but I guess we don't matter.
Nah. You know what? You can stay in Canada. I mean, Adam and I, we have our tradition on Sunday at Super Dirt Week. We're going to lose that this year. I mean, that's just a shame. Our tradition of hanging out all night, and we haven't been crazy the last few years, but we've still had some fun because we're old farts now. It's not nearly as fun. Yes.
Man, did we ever make some friends there 10 years ago?
Oh, we made some great friends, man. And let's be fair, the security guy was not one of them at 3 a.m. when somebody was driving us around the mile.
He never was.
I just can't help but
we
laugh
never did impress the security guard.
Everybody else parties all week there, and you guys wait till everybody else goes home Sunday at 11 o'clock to start drinking. I never understood that,
Because you got to work, man. It's like... It's work.
Yeah,
it's not.
I worked all week too and still drank all week. Come on,
Clint.
Yeah, okay. Look, you didn't see. You had the week off. See, I had to go to real work too.
Well, I'll give you that, Mike. You did have a day job. Then we were on vacation.
We would walk. I don't like dropping names, but this one's gonna work. We used to walk around the infield, drive a golf cart all around the campgrounds, and at times, like at 3 a.m. Monday morning, it looked like a war zone. Like a lot of people had cleared out. There's nothing. And then one night through the smoke, here comes Ray Zemkin. And I think he had a cooler pulled behind him.
And that was 5 a.m. I remember that.
Hammered.
I remember that because my alarm's going off to get up for my real job. That I didn't have that Monday.
He was still ready to party. Like, Ray, how's it going?
No, let's be fair, Adam. The best one was when we went in Bomus's camper and he's sleeping, and we sit by his bed and you start tapping him on the forehead at 3:30 in the morning. And hey, Bomus, what are you doing? And he freak out because who's in my camper? What's going on? And it's pitch black. We're like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, why so grumpy? What's the matter with you?
See, now you're wishing we could get across the border, Mike. Thanks for being with us. Hey, we appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, guys. Anytime. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
That's Mike Mallett from Dirt Track Digest, longtime buddy and Adam's one day a year drinking friend.
Our Sunday night adventures were something.
Let's talk about Gforce for a little bit. Gforce is getting together again. We got the full team back out. We're off this weekend, but we will have a full slate of Gforce Light coming up. Our full team live broadcast schedules. I look at the calendar over here. It'll be September 12th, which is not this coming Saturday, next Saturday. We're at Flamborough for the APC series with the full Gforce team. Following Saturday the 19th, we head off to Brighton for the full Gforce team, and then we're back to Jacasa for the final APC doubleheader day there. And then we're off to Brighton for the Eve of Destruction with the full live team on October 4th, which is a Sunday. So excited about that. We also got every bit of Gforce Light coming on in the middle too. So if there's any races going on, I know we're talking about getting Flamborough up this weekend. We're working on getting that together. We've also got Sunset with the Hot Rods and their action coming up on the 19th. While we are live, we'll be capturing that and getting that up the following day. So we've got all kinds of great stuff coming here on Gforce TV. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell, as Greg says, and make sure you get your notifications so you don't miss any of the great programming we've got here. Maybe not this show, but everything else we've got going on is great. So we appreciate everybody's support. And like Mike said, we've had a hell of a busy summer when we didn't think we'd be doing much of anything back start of June. And here we are. When I calculate, I think we're going on 11 scheduled broadcasts by the end of the year. So that's all we've got booked so far. That doesn't include all the Gforce Light stuff we've put out, the Buckle Up stuff, the Retro Rewind. There's all kinds of offerings for you here on the channel. So make sure you check that out. If you're not there, go to gforcetv.net, which will take you directly to our YouTube channel. Adam, your thoughts on Gforce and everything that's been going on so far this summer with us in that aspect?
Yeah, it's been all right. It's awesome.
That's all you got.
It's awesome. I mean,
it's been all right. All righty then.
I'll tell you what it's like. And it's not because of me, Clint. It's not because of you. It's because of the team. It's because of what we've been able to accomplish. I feel like Santa Claus when we walk into some of these venues because the racers and race teams are so appreciative that we're delivering them to people who can watch them and people that can go to work on Monday and talk about that have actually seen what they did, because normally they don't. You know what I mean? It's just been such a crazy energy. I feel so appreciated by the promoters, by the racers. People are just really excited to take part in the shows, and we're excited to be there. It's not often you get that kind of win-win where everybody is just sorry. It's not. When I say win-win's going to be when we can have fans back and go back to normal racing. But you know what I mean? It's
been a win-win considering the situation. I mean, we didn't put us into this situation, but we've been able to help. I think everybody is benefiting, as you mentioned. You know, the race teams are getting able to get on the track. The tracks are being able to get some semblance of normalcy. Obviously, their revenue's down majorly. But, you know, the parts stores are being able to sell some parts. The fuel guys are selling some fuel and tires. And I think, you know, as we said, with Operation Green Flag, it was just to get the engine of the industry at least up and idling. I think we're a solid second or third gear by now. I mean, we've done everything we can. I'm shocked at how fast, you know how Facebook, your memories come up. Everybody's memories start coming up with championship weekend already because it's September already. Like, where did this summer go? It seemed like it was not that long ago. We were all trying to figure out that we were not going to be going racing. And, man, we've got a lot of events in. I realize for us it's a bit different because we're dabbling on both sides of the pavement and dirt world. So we seem to be doing stuff every weekend. But, you know, around here, a lot of the tracks who made an effort have got a lot up and running. And we are definitely excited to be partnered up with them. And I think we have a great future coming to help carry the sport into some new venues. The other thing I really I love about our system is you can go back and watch anything you've missed. So, you know, like you mentioned, if you had to work, you can click on it right after it's done. You can rewind. You can watch any aspect of it if you want. You can go right to the street stock feature if you're a street stock guy or whatever it may be. So that's a super cool feature of what we've got going on. And, of course, 100% free all the time. So make sure you get out and support our sponsors, who we should probably give a mention to. We've had some great people help us for this past year and who have stuck with us on this program and everything we've done on Gforce. People like Brian's Farm, you know, they've had to go out and change their aspect a little bit of how they do business, from their large-scale auctions down to doing everything online. So make sure you give them a shot if you can. That's briansfarm.com. Of course, you know, I ran into Mark Zuba from Jibs Action Sports. And, you know, my first question on our marketing partners is always, how's business? And Mark said, booming. He goes, I can't believe how busy we are. He goes, they're lined up outside the store. He says his biggest problem is keeping staff right now. And that's a great thing to hear from our sports. Means they're strong and running good. Burger Barn is up. You and I it seems like we hadn't eaten there in a while, and we've been there, twice the past 2 Thursdays in a row over at Burger Barn for lunch. And, you know, they're busy there. We've seen that the parking lot's packed. They've rearranged a bunch of seating outside now. So, hey, as long as the weather's nice, it's a beautiful day to sit out there and eat. We've done that. Of course, Quick Wick, our buddy Frank from Quick Wick has done an awesome job getting on board with us. We've been showing their products a lot. I love their commercial that Joel produced for them not too long ago. We'll show that here in a minute. And Frank's a new partner with us, coming on board for all our broadcasts. And I can't remember who it was, but someone on the weekend accused me of being the caveman in the commercial. If you got the commercial, Spencer, if you got it, roll it. Yeah, they said they were accusing me of being the actor.
Early
we
man
also had
discovered
the best
fire,
comment
but
of the year
Quick Wick
on YouTube.
perfected fire. Quick Wick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without kindling or paper. Quick Wick, the world's best fire starter.
You know, we found out, and I that was not me, the caveman, but that's our question for Joel. We got to find out who the caveman was. Maybe we need him as a guest on this show. But, you know, I just came back from a camping trip, Adams. I know you did. We both camped up at Sauble for that. We used Quick Wick all week. It was amazing product. If you haven't got it, check it out. It's in a lot of retailers here around. They also have a website. You can go to check it out. So just want to send a quick shout out to all of our supporters who do a great job helping us keep things rolling along. And, we got to do our part as race teams and racers to help them out, and fans to make sure we appreciate their support.
Clinton, I want you to explain this comment from Rob Mack. Gforce saved my marriage. Of all the things we've done, I don't know how we pulled that off, but you're welcome. Unless you weren't crazy about your marriage.
Yeah, we're proud of a lot of things, but saving marriages wouldn't have been on our list of things that we could save claim to. I could only guess that's because Rob was going to kill his wife, or she was going to kill him if he didn't get his racing fix and get out of her way a bit. I think so. Gives everybody a bit of private time to go off and enjoy some of our favorite sport. How do you get tickets for Brighton in a couple weeks? That's a good question. You can email them, info@brightonspeedway.com, and I'm sure they will fill you in on the procedures of getting tickets. If they're even letting fans, I don't think Brighton has been going the route with fans in the early days. I'm not sure where they are now, but you can check that out. Give them drop them a line at info@brightonspeedway.com. Wow, losing my mind here.
You okay?
I did have something else I wanted to talk to you about, and I can't remember what it was. Right before we started talking about saving marriages. So let's jump into a couple of touchy topics that came up on social media this week. Spencer, we can take the weekend ahead off there. You can leave the Gforce up on the rundown.
A couple of touching topics? Are you sure we want to go there? You're always going too fast for me.
Well, I got to keep the show moving along.
You just got to relax sometimes.
All right. You can steer the ship from here on out, and I'll just go to chill mode.
I'm not steering anything, but I do want to know about the touching moments that you're wanting to talk about.
I said touchy, not touching. Touchy means you're going to piss people off. Touching means you might piss people off.
Yeah, I was going to say I still have a way of doing that. Let's do it.
Today came up on social media where someone posted that in the Niagara region, do you think the crate sprints are going to obsolete the 358 modifieds? And it brought up a good bit of discussion. My thoughts are no. There's still way too many generations who grew up, with modifieds as the top division. There's still a lot of families and generations that aspire to do it. I think it's just like anything. It's a lull. I mean, 2 years ago, our sprint cars in the 360s were down to 13 cars on the final night, and we were really worried. But the next year, we bounced up to an average car count of 25. So, you get ebb and flow, and sometimes when car counts are low, you get a lot of people jumping in. But what this brings us to is the argument of lower cost and lower age equals strength. And what I'm saying by that, Adam, is I'm going back to, for example, the sportsman division when crate motors came in. Before that, it was an open motor where you needed an engine builder to build you a real fast motor, anywhere from 10 to 15, 20 grand we heard for sportsman engines. And a lot of the drivers were older, like 35, 40 established, adults. And not a lot of parents were putting their kids straight from go-karts into the sportsman. Then when the crate engine program came around with a $5,000 crate, it dramatically dropped the average age of the division because parents could afford to make that jump. And I think that's what's going on with crate sprints right now. A complete race-ready car is under 20,000 Canadian that can win you a championship. So when you look at it from there, it's something a parent would move your kid from go-karting into something like that. And I think that's why the division is so strong and so young. So I think the big thing that we've got going for us is age. We've got such a young age group, whereas Merrittville's modified division, they're just older. They need some fresh blood in there, and I'm not sure how to do that. What are your thoughts on that?
You mostly explained it. I don't think the crate sprint, I don't see where the comparison is between a crate sprint and a 358 modified, one drawing from another. I mean, two very different examples. Like you say, there's ebbs and flows, there's peaks and valleys. I think right now 360 sprint racing is pretty hot. There are things that could happen that would change that and swing it another direction. Maybe something happens at Jukasa or Flamborough Speedway, and all of a sudden pavement racing becomes the hot ticket. Things just come and go. Enjoy what we've got, because right now there's a lot of healthy divisions out there. I don't think the 358 modified division at this end of Lake Ontario is one of those divisions right now that's really flourishing, but I think there's reason to believe it won't always be that way. I think there's plenty of people with plenty of reasons to see it succeed that can help steer the ship and keep it on the right path. Sorry, ships don't go on paths, but keep it on the right course of action.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. It is certainly a concern for Niagara fans. You don't want to see your top division get into peril like it is a little bit right now. It certainly didn't help that they had to suspend Bowman and Gordon. There was a lot of talk about, letting them race. They both made up and no harm, no foul, get on with it. That's tough, Adam, right? You have to give a penalty out or else you're going to have Wild West, because you have guys cramming each other every week and then shaking hands on Monday and say, well, it's all right. We're over it. You guys should be too. What are your thoughts on that? You've got to carry through with the penalties.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Because if you don't, there's a sign of weakness. If you don't, you have to control the situation. You have to make it seem like you have control of the action on the racetrack. Once you lose that control by accident, or by giving it up, or by making a poor decision that in the short term seems like a good decision, it's the wrong people controlling things. So yeah, they needed to serve their penalties, and you have to live by that.
The biggest thing that we think about when we make a rule is, if you're going to make a rule, you have to police it. So don't make a rule you're not prepared to police. And if the rule says what they did was wrong, which is obviously was wrong, ramming each other under caution, destroying each other's cars, if they weren't buddies and couldn't talk it out, does it make any difference? No, it's still the same situation. And you're right. You do need some sense of keeping it together. But, when you start making rules, you really got to look at what you're going to do, how you're going to police it. And if you, like you said, if you don't keep it together, one thing that I always went back to, whether it was managing at Humberstone or Oshweekon, is, when a tech issue comes up, particularly like Mike Miller will tell you, my favorite saying is, what does the Bible say? And we get out the book and we look and read what black and white, what it says, and we interpret it from there. And, that seems to be the fairest way to do it. So that ends that debate. Let's talk about something else. So another race came up, Schulte Humberstone race at Spencer. So Humberstone announced a race for September 13th. It's going to be 360 sprint cars, crate sprints, and then mini stocks and thunder stocks. 2,000 win for the 360s and 1,000 win for the other divisions. You can email dbittner at humberstonespeedway.com if you're an ODCC legal mini stock or thunder stock, action sprint car, or a 360 sprint car if you want to participate. This will be the final oval track race of the season at Humberstone. And Adam, another thing I caught on social media today, this is one of the other touchy topics. I saw one of the late model guys saying that he was disappointed and unpleased that they didn't get another shot to race. But this race kind of came together with, I don't want to bail Dave out, but where it came is we came to him and said, hey, when the sponsors got together to pay the Merrittville purse for the 360s, and let's be straight there. I mean, the reason you're having 4 360 races at Merrittville in the final waning weeks here at Merrittville is because a bunch of the 360 owners got together and used their businesses to pay the purse for the 360 sprint. So it was a no-brainer for Don Spee. So, I don't think any of the Humberstone or Merrittville teams that are being displaced by the sprint cars should be angry with either Don Spees or Dave Bittner, because, they're presented the business opportunity they've been given that's helping them out in a year when, they need it more than ever. So for the late model teams or the sportsman teams maybe who aren't pleased with Dave's decision, to not put you on the card, basically you got to realize all the other top divisions, their purse is being covered by sponsors to really help get that race out. And that was because when Merrittville got 4 races, the 360 teams came to me and said, hey, can we work out a double header so we can get maybe some of the Eastern teams to come down for a Saturday, Sunday type race? And that's when we went to Dave and said, hey, Dave, can we get another 360 and crate race together? I'll help you get some sponsorship together and we'll work it out. So I just want to not really take the heat off Dave, but I think not everybody always understands the process. They think, these guys just look at these divisions as, let's just push our own guys aside. But I think it's more the other way, where the 360 and crate teams and the management guys like me are coming to these promoters and track owners and saying, hey, can you fit us in? Here's what we're willing to pay to play to get in. So comments on that, Adam?
It's not been an easy season for race promoters. Okay, Clinton, without Gforce, you'd be going absolutely berserk this year, right?
Oh,
your
crazy.
track never opened. So
I would be unlivable.
I would think so. The work that these promoters are putting in, the effort they're putting in to keep things rolling has to be commended. If I have a dirt late model, I'm disappointed too. If I have a dirt sportsman, I'm disappointed too. I'm not a part of that show. But there have been shows that you were a part of, and they've got to take the opportunities where they can get them, right? So, I mean, commend these promoters for being creative, commend these team owners and business owners for trying to share the wealth and include other people that wouldn't necessarily be included, other tracks. It's creating opportunities for race teams. It's not taking away opportunities from anybody, because without the support, those events wouldn't have happened anyhow. So it's not like it was either this division or that division.
No, and let's look at when you look at late models, Dave Bittner booked a late model race before, and he only had one out of a full field of drivers, one local guy support him. So what would make him think he could put his neck out again and get that kind of support to come back? Same thing with sportsmen. He's not full field of sportsmen, when car counts are down around 18, but if you can have a Crater 360 race, you're going to have 24 to 28 cars sign up within 24 hours. It's not a hard decision to make those calls. You know what I mean? As opposed to leaving sign up open for 3 weeks and days before having to try and call people and round people up to fill up the field. You know what I mean? So my advice to you guys is, if you've got a class out there that wants to race more, when they book a race, you get off your ass and get out there and get going, or they're just going to leave you to the side. I mean, how many divisions come to us at Arsh Weekend and want to play in the backyard all the time? My question is, how many cars can you bring? Because we've got 40 in this division, and I can't sit them down for your 11. You know what I mean? So, car counts is where it's at.
The other thing we need to remember, because I got my wrist slapped for this, because we scold teams for not supporting. Earlier this year, someone came to me and says, Adam, we would love to be racing. I said, but I was out of work for 4 months, so I can't justify taking the race car out. So we don't want race teams to think we're scolding you for not being supportive of certain events. But before you complain, look at the big picture. Look at where
you're right.
help
I
is
don't
coming
seem
from.
like you're scolding. I'm scolding the drivers who have taken a stance this year when they had a perfectly good car and a good crew and were ready to go race, but they tried to make a point, and now it's kicking them in the ass. They're not getting any more races because of that boycott, or whatever you want to call it. Now, Rob Pitts brings up a good point. Pitts is honest, and Pitts is one of the guys who's affected by that, and we should have Pitts on next week to discuss this. But, I just want to clear the air from Dave. I know Pitts wasn't the one who posted that today, but, Rob says, when you pass over your regulars, don't expect their support later. But, that brings up a good debate with the late models at Humberstone. Who needs more in that situation? And I'm not trying to be an ass here, but really, do the drivers need Dave, or does Dave need the drivers? And, and it comes down to car counts. They've been trying since Pete Costco days to get that division up and get it solid. And it's kind of been stuck around 12, I think, for a while. And I'm sure they've had ups and downs. And, I'm probably pissing off the late model guys here, but I think a lot of their anger comes from the first race, when it was what was being called the Matt Williamson race, because Matty's sponsors got together, and really that was the catalyst for all of us racing this year. Was they got together and came up with a plan with some sponsor money to throw a 358 race at Humberstone when they couldn't seem to get one going at Merrittville. And I think that's where a lot of the Humberstone regulars felt shafted to begin with, but it comes back to sponsor money. They had sponsors throwing money at them. They've got to make those decisions.
Well said.
Where do the late models go at Humberstone going forward? That's the question. That's a discussion that needs to be had at some point too, because how long do you keep going that route? With the border closed, it's ultra tough for Dave because everybody's in a tough spot. He can't get any more cars. All the cars he's got here can't get and race anywhere. Guys like Rob can't go to wherever down there to race, and that makes it tough on them too. Everybody's kind of in a tough box right now.
Hey, speaking of tracks by the border, did you hear about Canadian Motor Speedway?
Yeah. What did you hear lately?
No, there were the Fort Erie Town Council or Regional Council, whatever it was, extended their sunset clause for an additional year. The SAR was over to make a presentation and talk about how things were going to start to be developed. And this is just in the last week or two. So I guess there's activity going on there, or they've at least requested another year to make things happen.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things like I've been saying for years. When we start seeing it rise up as you're driving down the QEW between Niagara and Fort Erie, you might start to feel it a little bit. I mean, I've always been very cautious with my comments about this in public because, a new complex like that for a guy who works in management and racing like us could be a huge opportunity. So, you don't want to burn your bridge, but there's been a lot of promises and deadlines that just haven't been met yet. It seems like they got some major hurdles to get over. They don't even own all the land there. There's been stories that one or two of the I think there's 3 properties in question that they need to obtain still to move to the next level, and they haven't been able to get the homeowners to give up ownership of their property or come up with a deal that they would like. So I think that's been the biggest holdup so far, is just been gathering the land they need around. So I don't know, man. I'd feel a lot better if it was an investor here in Ontario that we all knew, but mysterious money coming in on a pot of gold on a rainbow from Kuwait just seems a little bit too far-fetched for us.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring it up. It was something I overheard, and I didn't even resonate with me enough to send a message earlier this week to say, hey, let's talk about this on the show, but it just popped into my mind that I heard about it, and I thought, hey, I'm going to bring this up.
Before we get too much further, let's talk about what's going on and where you are, Adam. We didn't really get into why you're outside today with the race car behind you. Connor has his first race this Saturday at Flamborough. What do you know about the event? What can you tell us? We're hoping to have it on Gforce Lite and make arrangements to get that done. What's going on with Daddy's money?
Yeah, I think there's 4 or 5 divisions on the go. We've had an oil leak. We knew we had an oil leak. He's tested twice now. So we got the car back to John Carley's crew chief, Ed. We got it back to his place, got it up in the air, fired it up, and there's a nasty noise going on. The ring gear had come loose. All the bolts were coming out that hold in the ring gear. So before we chased the oil leak, we had to pull everything apart, get everything secured on it. So now tonight they've been chasing that oil leak, trying to get that sorted out, and hopefully the car will be ready to go, and we're actually probably going to load it into the trailer tomorrow night for Saturday's race, ready to rumble, because then John Carley's car will go into the shop and they'll work on it. And I'm really looking forward to Saturday. I guess we roll in at 10 o'clock in the morning, I think is when they let us in, Clint, for all the races that I've been involved in. I mean, I haven't gone to the racetrack as part of a race team since the early 2000s, 2001 maybe, 2002. So this will be fun.
Please tell me Daddy's money is under that car getting his hands dirty.
Connor, where are you at? He's in the car. Okay.
All right.
He's in the last night. I was filthy. I've still got filthy shop pants on. I don't know if we want to see. What the hell? I'll show you. I put on a decent shirt for the show, but I got my greasy, grungy.
Nobody wants to see your dirty shorts. Just sit down.
Because I was laying under the damn race car till 11 o'clock last night. That's not my style. That's not my shtick.
I just want to make sure that he wasn't inside iRacing while you guys are doing all the sweat work. Couple good
No,
questions
he's
here.
he's had his hands dirty.
Stephen Petty says, we're taking bets which track gets built first, Canadian Motor Speedway or Central New York Raceway Park, the Glenn Donnelly project, that's a good one.
Oh, boy.
Mike Cura asks, what is Miss Rumley's ties to Southwestern Ontario? It's funny you asked that. Kevin Rumley's wife is Debbie Brush's daughter. So Miss Rumley is her mom ran the Ontario Dirt Late Models for a long time here in Ontario. And Jacqueline Brush was her name before she became Jacqueline Rumley. So we dealt with her mom and dad quite a bit over the years. They owned cars and ran the ODLM for mine and Adam's years. Back on the Brad Authier magical night when we had our first real fight on the air over a slide job gone bad or good. We'll have to find that and argue about that. We got a couple more things to go over. Let's look at our Burger Barn Video Week. You, Spencer, myself, we have a message stream where we exchange topics all week long. Let's go back and forth and let's look at the Burger Barn Video Week. This was a heat race in a late model division somewhere in the south, and I think it's super cool. Check it out.
One to go for Olszewska.
Car looks good here, but look at the left front has folded under.
That wheel is completely folded under in the 121. He's still got a huge lead.
Now he's
Can he
leading.
hold on? Here's Richard Brace the final time. Olszewska lost a wheel off of turn number 4. Can you transfer a wheel? Olszewska wins it.
That's pretty cool. But
as long as he made weight.
The question, that's my question. So you win the heat, now you come across the scale and you're light. That's a problem. So that's another good reason, if you're that good, why you don't push weight that close, because you might need that extra 25 pounds someday.
You never know.
Yeah, we didn't find out whether he made weight or not. You make the call. DJ Christie says, is Connor just sitting in the car texting girls? That's a good one. Let's talk about Tony Stewart's All-American Racing. Adam, have you had a chance to look at this at all?
Nope.
So Tony Stewart put out Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing back in February, and they announced today, I believe it was, that he's going to have a new game coming out for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC called Tony Stewart's All-American Racing. It features legend cars, street stocks, and big block modifieds. Show the screenshots, Spencer, if you can, first, and then we'll take a look at the video. So, there's your street stock looking car, of course, all on dirt, legends cars on dirt, and then which is going to be real popular among our fans will be the big block modifieds. So, super cool to have this in a major league. Like, our big block modifieds are in a major league game, and I know what all the iRacing, diehards are going to say, well, the gameplay is not the same. It's not, but it's not. You're going from what we've spent a year explaining as a simulation to a video game. For example, I couldn't just jump on iRacing and start kicking ass. Well, after about a half an hour playing the sprint car game, I could go head to head with my 12-year-old. We had some great old battles. It's a game. It's a video game. It's meant to be that. Yep. So the playability is a little bit easier. It's a lot more forgiving, things like that. But I had a great time playing it. And
if it was a simulation, Tony Stewart would get out of his car and blame the tire manufacturer for the crappy product that they provided. So no, this is a video game. There's none of that at the end.
But right at the same time that I discovered iRacing, right when COVID really kicked in, the end of March is when I got involved in iRacing and got up and going. It was the same time we bought the game, and I was playing them both at the same time. And yeah, they're totally different, but I was super impressed by how fun it was. And you know what? A 10-year-old is not necessarily going to jump on iRacing unless they're already into iRacing and just jump in dirt. This is a chance to get kids who are playing Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever games are playing these days, Fortnite, and actually get them into a racing game that might get them into iRacing, that might get them to pull the Alan Downey and come out and race with us for real. So, I'm just excited about that it's going to draw more kids in. Spencer, if you've got that YouTube video I sent today, play that one along. We'll take a look. It's a quick interview with Tony and shows a bit of the gameplay of Tony Stewart's All-American Racing.
we're excited to announce the next installment of our video game series, Tony Stewart's All-American Racing. It's an all-new dirt racing game for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, featuring a brand new physics engine rebuilt from the ground up. With the sprint car game this past February, we were simply blown away with the amount of support we received right out of the gate. But we also immediately realized that there was an appetite for a much larger experience. At launch, the game will feature big block modifieds, street stocks, and legend cars. We love these cars because each have their own personality and drive very different from one another. The career mode is even modular, which means you get to choose how you want to play. And if you want to hire a driver in a particular series instead of racing it yourself, you can do that too. I'm really proud of the team and what they've put together. We spent a lot of time listening to fan feedback and really crafting a plan and a strategy that delivers. I can't wait to see you all out there on the track. Tony Stewart's All-American.
So that drops this Friday. I'm going to get it. I mean, it's just, it's one of those things where, like I say, you're at a party, you got a bunch of people, and you got to remember you're playing with a controller too, right? So it's totally different than you'd imagine if it was with a steering wheel. Fran brings up something. I should have sent over that Stuart Friesen video. He's got a cool retro car coming up this weekend of his grandpa Stan's car that he raced at Maryville. Dolly Deer, it's called. We'll have to make sure we get some pictures of that over, and we can check that out. Last thing on the list, Adam, was today Dylan Davidson announced that they're going to have the Pete Costco Memorial this year, but it'll be virtual. It'll be a late model race from Volusia, and more details to come on that. Was this week was the anniversary of Pete's passing. Great support of everything in Humberstone and everybody here in Niagara. So great to see they're going to carry on that legacy. Couldn't get the race out, but interesting to see that they're going to do it. He did mention payouts and registration, so we'll see what they do. His grandma Linda Costco is probably heavily involved with that, and they're probably going to put together some cool payouts and make it a neat online race that, who knows, maybe we can get them to run it here on Gforce with our crew. So we'll reach out to them and see how that goes. We've got 3 minutes left to go in our hour. Anything else you want to discuss, Mr. Ross?
I don't think so. I'd forgotten how mentally draining being around race cars could be, because I've been thinking about it too much today and the things that we got to do, and a little nervous for this weekend. But that's really what's been occupying my mind. I'm really, really excited to go racing with Connor. Really appreciative of John Carley and the opportunity that he's given to us.
Yeah, it's I hope Connor realizes what he's getting here. Being untested, for someone to give you an opportunity like that, usually it takes daddy's money to get someone like daddy's money into a seat. So that is definitely a cool opportunity for him to get out there. I'm planning on coming out. I'm going to do a doubleheader on Saturday. I think I'm going to make an appearance at Flamborough and then head up to Merrittville and catch their action too. Don't forget, we've got tons of programming coming up here on Gforce TV. As always, it's always free. Just make sure you subscribe, which you don't even have to do anything. All you have to be is logged into your Google account, and you'll be all set up and notified when anything comes down the pipe. We've got all kinds of cool stuff coming, and it's amazing, Adam. We're already talking about what's going to happen in the fall. Planning has begun for our racing season, so we'll be doing some of that once the cold weather comes. And then we've already started to talk what's going to be like next year, which is amazing to see that the season's pretty much over or winding down quickly here. But there's a good slate, about a month and a bit still to go here in Ontario. So we're excited about that.
I'm excited to get to the weekend, Clinton. Good show. Always fun to spend an hour with you, even when we disagree. Well, it's more fun when we disagree.
Yeah, we didn't fight much this week. We'll find something good to argue about next week. Thanks, everybody, for coming along for the ride. Thank you, Spencer, for being with us. Thanks, Mike Mallet, for joining us earlier in the hour. And thanks, everybody, for the support. We certainly appreciate being able to come into your life and spend some time with you, whether it be here or at the races. So thanks for having us into your deal, and we appreciate you hanging out. Have a great week. We'll see you at the races.